Look at that. Look how pretty that is. All this fake, all this CGI, but it's a real planet, right? Kind of looks like, I mean, I think it's supposed to be Nimbus 3. I thought it was the planet from Star Trek Beyond. I mean, it's something out of a PlayStation 6 or a PlayStation 7. PS9? Damaged Enterprise? All left over from 94. That's Captain Kirk's badge. Badge of honor. It gives me Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock vibes. But it's not so much this. I mean, this was fantastic. I already talked about this, but it's amazing what they're doing for Gene Roddenberry's legacy that they can't do for George Lucas. And particularly Star Wars and the Galaxy. That's a great shot, by the way. Now in here, I mean, this is a Legends chronology. It takes place before the Clone Wars cartoons, the last 10 years of the Dark Horse comics and Disney's Star Wars. And I think I'd have to go all the way to the back here. You got characters, you got the chronology, you got technology, you've got weapons, vehicles, alien species, all this stuff. Now you recall. Well, let's see if we can find it. Here is the entire galaxy of Star Wars. This is the galaxy that's far, far away, mapped out: mid-rim, expansion region, inner rim, colonies, core worlds. You can see this is all from my book. This is Hylian Way, Corellian trade spine, Rimma trade route, Corellian run, Prelimian trade route. All this stuff. All these different planets. I don't know if Coruscant is in there. There's Coruscant. Right in the center. Tatooine might be way out there. Yeah, way out there. There's so many different planets. I'm just looking at all this stuff. Now, of course, that's what we think of when we think of Star Wars. We think of the galaxy. We might think of ships, but we definitely think of the planets. Whether it's Tatooine, Coruscant, Naboo, Yavin, Alderaan, the Death Star. Even though the Death Star is not a planet, it's still like a vital part of like the Star Wars universe. I feel like you get some of that with Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, where you see just a little bit all these ships, the interior of the ships, of course. We think of Star Trek, we think of the ships of the Enterprise. But when we think of Star Wars, we think of the planets, and we might think of the Death Star and what else? Naboo, Geonosis, Hoth, right? Dagobah, Darth Sion. Look at these. This is the ships that you would see in the comic books, and also in the Clone Wars when the younglings were learning how to build their lightsabers. And Princess Leia, I think, was on one of those. Oh, there's different pictures here. This is the Old Republic. This is not the High Republic. The Old Republic. So the point of this video is to say, so when they did Stage 9, when a fan did Stage 9 of Star Trek, it was for free. It was to be shared with everyone, but that got DMCA'd, cease and desisted, and so you will no longer find Stage 9 unless people share with you in private folders and shit like that. So you'll never be able to get a hold of Stage 9 of which. What it is it's the Galaxy class Starship Enterprise NCC 1701 Delta, and the different forms. You have the Yesterday's Enterprise look, and Season 1 look, Season 7 look, the holodeck. I don't think the holodeck was finished. You had 10 forward, you had different decks, and that's what they're trying to do now, right? Because the Roddenberry Archive, Otoy, YouTube channel, they're trying to chronicle all this stuff. But there hasn't been anything for Star Wars exactly. You know, what would it take to take a planet, right? Let's say Tatooine. And where is Mos Eisley? Where is Mos Espa? Where's Luke's homestead? Where are the Jundland Wastes? Where's this? Where's that? Where are all these things on this planet? Then you go to Coruscant. You get that planet. You try to figure out where's everything on that planet. Then you go to the next. Then you go to the next. Then you go to the next. And you try to say, okay, Tatooine is exactly here. And way off where the TV is where Coruscant is. And then over there by the corner of the door is where Naboo is. And then Geonosis would be right where that hole in the wall is right there. That would be way over there. And then what's that one? Camino. Camino's like where the piano is, the keyboard. There's Camino over there. So it's exactly, all these planets are exactly where they're supposed to be. And then you chronicle them, and then you put the landmarks on the planets. Then you show the interiors of the ships, of the Star Destroyers, and the TIE Fighters, and the X-Wings, and the N1 Naboo Starfighters, and the Jedi Starfighters. All the stuff from Dark Horse, all the stuff from the novels. That is not happening. That is not happening for George Lucas's sake. It's not happening. So what they're doing with Star Trek is they're taking all the stuff from the novels, the comic books, maybe the video games, stuff that existed only in one form or another, and they're putting that all together. And maybe what the plan is that in future Star Trek projects, they can blue screen, okay, take a blue screen or even green screen, okay, you take the green, right, and then you the actor, you're sitting somewhere in that green screen, and then you overlap the exact dimensions of all the different ships without having to go through the trouble of building all that. So you're building like a green set, and then if the real set, like let's say the Enterprise F and G were torn down after Picard season 3, then there's no problem. You save all the measurements so that when you recreate it just like this in green form. You can make it out of balsa, whatever. I mean, you do have to have some actual chairs so the actors can sit down, but everything's made out of balsa, and you have these different things, but everything's replicated with computers, so that when the actors are acting against that virtual reality. But also too, the one upside of what Disney's doing with Star Wars is that they're using technology so where the actors can see the CGI on the shooting, on the production. Now, I would challenge anyone, and the challenge would be accepted by anybody who has the money and the computers to make a virtual Star Wars galaxy. And since it is, I think they defend, for all the shit Disney Star Wars has ever done, I defend one thing about them. Okay? The right to let the fans make their own projects profit-free. That's it. No Kickstarters, no Indiegogos. They make their own Star Wars fan films, their own animation, their own video games, as long as they don't make any money. And I think that's one of the stipulations maybe George Lucas put in selling this. Like, don't go after people who are making Star Wars projects if they're not making a dime off of those things. So somebody has to be up to the bat. They have to step up to the plate and put the effort into making a Star Wars galaxy. And even putting in, like, when I mean the Star Wars galaxy, I mean, we're talking about like stuff from the Dawn of the Jedi, right? Stuff from the characters and the likenesses of the characters from the Dawn of the Jedi, the Old Republic, the High Republic, the 6 movies, the Clone Wars, the Mandalorian, Boba Fett, right? And then the legacy, right? Cade Skywalker, and Anya Solo, right? The Ralph McQuarrie art that went along with George Lucas's original draft of a long movie of a 6-hour movie that he was going to have planned, and that didn't work out. The Star Wars 74. So you have to chronicle that. You have to chronicle the prototype stuff and the original stuff. So someone has to do the things that they're doing now. They could call it the Lucas Archive, the Lucas Files, and then do exactly what they're doing with those PlayStation 6 graphics to make it that good. Because that's what we're needing right now. And if somebody can do that, great. I can't do it. I can make pretty art, but I cannot chronicle this. It has to take somebody going through all the books of the past and present. So if you like this video, if it's good enough for you, you see those buttons below, you know what to do. Tell your friends and find the person who can do this. And may the force be with that person.